After 47 matches and nearly 1.5 months of putting sweat and blood on the field, the world will witness a new champion of ODI cricket on 14 July at the Mecca of Cricket in Lords. England and New Zealand will battle for the championship after defeating two of the best teams of world cricket. New Zealand defeated the Indian side in a close encounter by 18 runs, while England registered an easy victory over the Australian side, completing the match in just the 33rd over. New Zealand, who made entry into the World Cup as a dark horse, has reached its second consecutive finals and would like to win and touch the silverware after remaining short of it during the 2015 edition against Australia, while the English team, who has reached the World Cup finals for the first time since 1992 edition, would like to repeat the sequence of the last two World Cup, where the home team has won the trophy. Talking about the road to the finals, the New Zealand team had won 5 out of 9 matches by losing 3 games and 1 game against India, which got washed out. In the semi-finals, the Kiwi team defeated the Indian side and destroyed the batting lineup of the Indian team. While the English team road to the finals was not easy. In a must-win game against India, the English team defeated India and winning 5 other games. Only Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Australia managed to defeat the English side. Speaking about facing each other in the ODI, England and New Zealand have met 90 times, where New Zealand has defeated England 43 times while England just won 41 games. 2 games got tied and 4 ended with no results. In the World Cup, both teams have met each other for 9 times, where the Kiwi team has won 5 times while the English team has won 4 times. We have our sports editor Mahesh Kutti online. Kutti sir, your first reaction on England massive victory against Australia?
Well, yesterday's match was a very interesting game. Australia won the toss and, as expected, decided to bat first. But the advantage was quickly lost because the English fast bowlers got rid of the top 3 batsmen, Warner, Finch and then Hanscom, who was making his debut. Very soon, they were in a very similar position like what India was. India were 5 for 3 and Australia were 14 for 3. But the remarkable partnership between Steve Smith and Carey took Australia to about 117 before Carey threw his wicket away. Overall, I thought that the English bowlers constantly kept pressure on the English bowlers kept constant pressure on the Australian batsmen, and that led to the fact that Australia couldn't score a lot of runs.
The English team is playing in its home condition. Do they have a privilege over the Kiwi side?
I don't think that is something that the New Zealanders have to worry, because the climatic conditions in England and New Zealand are not much different. There also you have grey skies and overcast condition, and the ball keeps moving around. So the batsmen are quite well equipped to play seam bowling, and both the sides have got very good bowlers, especially seam bowlers. So it's going to be quite an even battle. But as of now, looking at past performance, I think England look to be a very, very strong side. Their batting is firing, their bowlers are in top form, and their fielding has been outstanding. It's going to be a cracker of finals, but I think the Englishmen would be a little difficult to beat.
The English batting has been world class throughout the tournament, while the Kiwi team's bowling has destroyed the Indian batting side in the last match. Do you think it would be the battle between English batsmen and the Kiwi bowlers?
See, the English openers have been in red hot form. Look at Johnny Bairstow. He's carried his form from the IPL. Okay, and so has been Jason Roy. Jason Roy was out of the team for a couple of matches, and England actually suffered. But once he is back, England look to be a completely different side. They seem to be winning because their openers are getting the runs at the top of the order. See, any team that has played well in the top order has gone on to score big, and that has gone on to help them win a match. So it would be very interesting to see if Trent Boult will be able to get his swing bowling at Lords, provided the conditions are conducive to swing bowling. If Trent Boult can get early inroads, it's going to be a very interesting match. Like the Indian team, the English openers and the number 3 and number 4 batsmen have been scoring all the runs. So it will be very interesting to see if the middle order, like Ben Stokes and Jos Buttler, will be able to score the runs. All in all, I think it's a game between two of the best sides in the World Cup, and I think England might just about edge New Zealand.
Talking about the players in batting, Joe Root is at number 4 of the highest run getters in the World Cup with 549 runs, followed by the Kiwi captain Kane Williamson, who is just a run behind him. While in bowlers, Jeffro Archer has got 19 wickets, who is followed by Lockie Ferguson with 18 wickets. Will it be proper to say that it is a clash of sides with equal caliber?
Oh, without a doubt. You look at both the sides. They've got very good batting and very good bowling. So, like what I said, this is a match that is being played by two of the best teams in the World Cup, without a doubt. England started off brilliantly. In between, they went down the road, and then they mustered up enough ammunition and just was able to get into the semi-finals. Both these teams basically scraped through to the semi-finals, and now just look at it. They're playing the finals, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be one cracker of a game on Sunday.
What could be the team lineup for both their teams, as both the sides in the previous game played with 5 pace bowlers and just 1 spinner, and likely to repeat the winning competition? How much does the pressure of finals would come into the play?
See, it's very difficult to say the team composition unless you look at the strip. If it's going to be a seamer friendly wicket, I'm sure that they'll again go to the match with 4-5 seamers. But yes, this is a final. This is going to be a real high pressure game. Obviously, the team that wins the toss will want to bat first, put up the runs on the board, and then put pressure. It happened in the first semi-finals against the match between India and New Zealand. New Zealand were able to score only 239 runs, but the scoreboard pressure in the semi-finals got the better of India. But what happened in the second semi-finals is that England came in with a very positive mindset. See, that's very important. Now we need to see what is the mindset that the team comes into the ground with. If you come into the ground with a very positive mindset, in all probability, you will try and win the game. Now, whether the Englishmen will come with the same kind of intent like they came against Australia, we'll have to wait and see. But I think the Englishmen know the conditions well, and I think they'll come all guns blazing. So it's going to be a very interesting game. The team composition, I don't think anybody would be able to predict till you see the wicket condition and the atmospheric pressures.
Both the teams have lost their previous ICC finals. New Zealand team lost against Australia in the 2015 World Cup, while the England team lost against the Indian side in the ICC Champions Trophy. Do you think both the teams would like to be prepared and the management would say that they should not look at the previous results and look a way forward?
See, like a batsman comes into the ground when he comes to bat, he realizes one thing. You don't look at what you scored. You have every day is a new day. So both the teams will come into the ground thinking that this is a fresh day. They need to come out and score and take wickets just like they would do on day one of a test match. Now, England lost in 2015 to almost everybody. They lost against Bangladesh as well. So at that point of time, the English board decided that they're going to revamp the side. And that's what exactly they did. They filled their side with good one-day players. Look at that side. That side has got a lot of match winners. Now, that has gone ahead and helped them to get into the finals of the World Cup. Similarly, I think last time around, the Kiwis, they made it to the finals at Melbourne, but they lost. That was a one-sided affair against Australia. But what happened is that 4 years later, they've got a side that can compete against England in English condition. They could well spring up a surprise. I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand go on to win this game. But when we predict, we look at current form. We'll just look at what they just played. And looking at that, I think England look to be a very good side. But don't be surprised if Kiwis pull up a fast one.
Before going to the key players to look out for, there's one question which the World Cup has entirely been in news. First, the rain washing out the game, and second, the umpiring goof up. Do you think the ICC should look into this matter and avoid the finals from such mishaps?
Okay, first of all, the venue of the World Cup was terrible. According to me, England should not have been chosen as a venue for the World Cup because in England, you keep getting rain all through the year. Ideally, we should have it either in the subcontinent, that is in India, Pakistan or wherever, or you go to Australia where normally the weather doesn't play spoil sport. So another factor which surprised a lot of cricket fans around the world was the inability to cover grounds. The rains would stop, but the outfield would be so wet that the match had to be washed out. Even the semi-finals had to be played over 2 days, which I don't know whether it was an advantage to New Zealand or a disadvantage to India. But that is not the way a World Cup, a marquee event like a World Cup should not go through. Thirdly, it was the umpiring. It was terrible. If you look at the umpiring, consistently it was bad umpiring. the latest being the wicket that Dhoni, I mean, when Dhoni was run out, it was actually a no ball. It's a different matter that Dhoni would still have been run out, but he would not have taken a run probably, and the next ball could have been a free hit. So these are things that the ICC should look into. These are umpires who are supposed to be the best in the world. If the best is so bad, and God bless them.
Who do you think would be the key players for both the side in such a crucial game?
In all these big matches, the big players have to rise up. For me, the English side has to depend on somebody like Ben Stokes because he gets both the bowling as well as batting into the game. But the red hot form of the openers, is always going to be an X factor for the English team because both Roy and Bairstow have been in terrific form. If they get off to a flyer in a World Cup match, if England win the toss and the openers get off to a flyer, imagine what will be going through the New Zealanders' mind. Suddenly they'll be looking at a score about 275, 300. 300 in a World Cup finals is you can easily add another 50 runs to a normal game. So 350 would be very difficult for New Zealand to chase. So I still believe that the team that wins the toss has a great advantage of winning the match. It's going to be again win the toss and win the match.
And who do you think would rise up the silverware in this game?
Oh, you know what? I have got a lot of reasons to believe that England will win this game, though I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand pulls up a surprise because they've been doing that very, very well. But for England to win, their openers will have to fire and their bowlers have been bowling pretty well. They've got a very good bowling attack, especially Jofra Archer has been bowling extremely well all through the World Cup. So to me, England should win the title and New Zealand would come in second. But this is going to be a very, very close fought game.
And finally, what could a win or lose mean for both their teams, especially England, who made a drastic change in its approach towards the limited format after the early exit from the 2015 World Cup?
When the tournament started, the four teams that were expected to make it into the semi-finals was India, Australia, England, and the fourth team was between probably Pakistan, South Africa, and New Zealand. I was very happy to see the way New Zealanders performed, and they were able to come into the last four. Now, having made it to the last four, see, these semi-finals and finals are just one-off games. On that day, whoever plays well will go on to win the game. There is no history attached to it, right? So, for both the teams from 2015, New Zealand have reached where they left off in 2015. Now, all that they have to do is to win the title and move one step ahead. But for England, who were thrown out after the quarterfinals, to come back so strongly speaks a lot about their grit and determination to make it big in the world stage. And I'm extremely happy for England to having made rapid progress. As they move forward, I think England will be a force to reckon with in all these one-day matches and the T20 World Cup that's going to happen next year.
Now, whoever wins the trophy, be it the English side or the Kiwi side, one thing is for sure, the world would get a new champion and the cricketing fans around the world will be getting a high voltage match to witness. Do write in the comment box on how did you like our videos on the entire World Cup. Till next time, it's goodbye from entire Straight Drive team.